the man who couldn't go home. He was the man who tricked an entire city with a wooden horse. But after the war, this same clever man could not find his way back to his own home. His journey took 10 long years. This is the story of Odysseus. After the fall of Troy, Odysseus and his men finally set sail for home. Home was a small island called Ithaca, where his wife Penelope and his young son were waiting for him. The trip should have taken only a few weeks. Instead, it took a decade, and almost nothing went the way he planned. Their troubles began on an island of giants called Cyclopes. Odysseus and his men found a huge cave full of cheese and milk. They decided to wait inside for the owner to return. That was a mistake. The owner was Polyphemus, a one-eyed giant, and he was not happy to find visitors in his home. He rolled a massive stone across the entrance, trapping the men inside, and started eating them one by one. Odysseus had to think fast. He gave the giant strong wine until Polyphemus fell into a deep sleep. Then Odysseus and his men took a sharpened wooden stake and blinded the giant's single eye. The next morning, the blind giant led his sheep out to graze, feeling each one carefully so no man could walk out standing up. But Odysseus had already tied his men underneath the sheep's bellies. They escaped, but not quietly. As they sailed away, Odysseus shouted his own name back at the giant, proud of his victory. That single moment of pride changed everything. Polyphemus was a son of Poseidon, god of the sea. The giant begged his father for revenge, and Poseidon listened. From that day, the sea god made sure Odysseus' journey home would be a nightmare. Next, the winds themselves turned against him. A king named Aeolus gave Odysseus a magical bag containing all the dangerous winds, tied shut so his ship could sail home safely. Ithaca was almost in sight, so close the men could see smoke rising from their own houses. But Odysseus' crew thought the bag was full of gold. While he slept, they opened it. The winds burst out and blew the ship all the way back to where they started. Then came Circe, a powerful witch living on a hidden island. She invited the men to a feast and turned every single one of them into pigs. Only Odysseus, protected by a magic herb, avoided the spell. He forced Circe to change his men back, and in the end the group stayed on her island for a full year before continuing their journey. Circe warned Odysseus about what lay ahead. The Sirens, creatures whose singing voices were so beautiful that sailors would crash their ships just to hear more. Odysseus wanted to hear the song and survive it, so he ordered his men to fill their ears with wax and tied himself tightly to the ship's mast. As they sailed past, the Sirens' voices called to him, promising secret knowledge. But the ropes held and the ship sailed safely on. Right after came an even deadlier trap, a narrow strait guarded by two monsters, Scylla and Charybdis. On one side, Charybdis created a massive whirlpool that could swallow the entire ship. On the other, Scylla, a six-headed beast, would snatch sailors right off the deck. Odysseus had to choose the lesser danger, sailing close to Scylla and losing 6 men to save the rest of the crew. After surviving all of this, Odysseus lost everything. His men, starving, ate sacred cattle belonging to the sun god Helios, an act strictly forbidden. As punishment, Zeus destroyed their ship with a lightning bolt. Every single crew member drowned. Odysseus alone survived, floating on wreckage, completely alone. He washed up on the island of the nymph Calypso, who fell in love with him and kept him there for 7 years, offering him immortality if he would stay forever. But Odysseus refused eternal life on a paradise island. He wanted one thing only: to go home. Finally, the gods intervened and Calypso was ordered to let him go. After more hardship at sea, Odysseus reached Ithaca at last, but not as a hero returning in glory. He arrived disguised as a poor beggar, his identity hidden, unsure who he could even trust. His home was no longer peaceful. Over 100 suitors had moved into his palace, eating his food and demanding that Penelope choose one of them to marry, believing Odysseus was long dead. But Penelope had been buying time for years, refusing every one of them. Still disguised, Odysseus watched the chaos in his own home. Then came the final test. Penelope announced a contest. Whoever could string Odysseus's old hunting bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axe heads in a row would win her hand. One by one, the suitors tried and failed. The bow was too powerful for them. Then the ragged beggar stepped forward. He picked up the bow like it was nothing, strung it easily, and fired the arrow clean through all 12 axes. Only then did he reveal who he truly was. 10 years after leaving for Troy, Odysseus was finally home. Not through luck, but through patience, cleverness, and a refusal to give up, even when the entire world seemed determined to keep him away. Sometimes the longest journey isn't measured in miles. It's measured in how much a person is willing to endure just to get back to where they belong.